Alright, peace, family. I just woke up actually, but welcome, welcome. I am Soleil and I'll be your host today on this channel brought to you by Celestial Alignments. And as of lately, I've been studying a lot of Taoism and Zenism, and the teachings of those practices, of those religions, you know what I'm saying, have brought me to the realization and understanding of emptiness, of becoming nothing. You feel what I'm saying? And so, as I'm applying the principles of Zenism specifically, and Taoism too, but mostly Zenism, I'm starting to understand, why it's of importance for me to identify with no thing. We say nothing, but it's actually no thing, really, if you think about it. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm just beginning to understand the value of emptiness, but as I was meditating and observing my own mind, initially in the beginning of this desire to identify with nothingness, there was a fear, a fear that was brought forth by my identity, you feel me, by my ego. A fear that if I go on with this nothingness and I surrender myself to the Tao, you feel what I'm saying, then what will happen to me? Will I cease to exist? And this is all my ego talking, you feel what I'm saying. But I came to the realization that there are, two forms of emptiness. There is the first form of emptiness, which you specifically identify yourself as the container holding the emptiness. But then the other form of emptiness is you identifying as the emptiness that is within the container. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like the latter, the second, the identification of the emptiness that is within the container, I feel like this is more of a void, more of an emptiness that I believe can be destructive, you feel what I'm saying. But the identification as the container, you feel me, which holds the nothingness, I feel like this identification brings you closer to spirit. Because from my understanding, of the mind, body, and soul, or spirit, soul, and body, you feel what I'm saying, from my understanding of that, from my understanding of spirit, mind, and body, spirit, soul, and body, I'll rather say, is that, initially we all come from the same body of water, and you can say this body of water is God, you feel what I'm saying, and we are driplets or fractals, of God, you feel me, and from my understanding and awareness, that aspect of us, that is God, the Christ within us, as it's also referenced. The aspect of us is the spirit, if that makes sense. But then we also have an aspect of us that in a sense has a coloring, a unique differentiation amongst the other spirits, for what I'm saying. And so, his name is Flight Boss, right? I really like how he explained it in the manner that the spirit is our space, you feel me? And then everything that takes place within the space is like our soul, you feel what I'm saying? Our solo individuality, you feel what I'm saying? And so, as I'm learning to empty myself, and as I'm learning to be okay with nothingness, I can feel that I'm connecting more with spirit, in the sense that as I allow my ego to dissolve, and as I allow my identity to dissolve, you feel me? And because look, we talk about being in the world but not of it, you feel what I'm saying? And so the thing that's of the world is your identity. It is your ego, you feel me? It is the I, the me, who you think you are and what you think you are and what you think you have to do. You know, these are all of the world, you feel me? And so when you stop identifying with these things and you start to learn how to empty yourself and how to become nothing, you feel me? And not be a no thing, you know, I should say. Then you start to learn how to connect with everything from my experience, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we can even say from a psychological perspective, once you learn to let go of your paradigm, then it's like you have access to greater materials to build with, because you have expanded your compass, we will say, you feel me, to be receptive to everything, yet unattached to anything, you feel what I'm saying? It's like a state where you kind of just become flow, it's a good word to use, and where it's like you're allowing the consciousness, the thought energy to flow through you, you feel what I'm saying? And I do want to throw this out there that I am, of course, a spiritualist, you feel me, and I understand the importance of spirituality. You know, spirituality, it comes from the soul, right? I read this quote, and it said, spirituality doesn't come from religion. Spirituality comes from your soul. You know, and that is so potent, and that is so good. And with that being said, you know, when we practice spiritual systems, it's primarily our soul that benefits from it, you feel what I'm saying? And so I practice a lot of spiritual ismness. You know, I sun gaze a lot, you feel what I'm saying? I ground myself to the earth a lot. I do a lot of breath work. I meditate for an hour. You know, because from my perspective, I believe that the longer you can go, the more impactful it will be. But, you know, meditation is better than no meditation, period, you feel what I'm saying? But I do all these things that have enabled me to be able to be right here where I am, consciously speaking, mentally speaking, you feel what I'm saying? And so, you know, I say that to say this. It's important that we have a spiritual system. You know, I talked about a spiritual system the other day, and this one lady was confused, and she asked what I meant by that. You know, it's like the spiritual community, I feel, from my perspective, and awareness, and seeing people go in circles in the spiritual community, it's good, but it's no better than like religious people who can't expand and grow due to their dogma. But I think the thing is that a lot of us cling on to one thing and deny other things, you feel what I'm saying? But in reality, we would benefit from utilizing the spiritual systems, you know, that are associated with religion, you feel what I'm saying? The disciplines, you know. So, you know what, rather than speaking on religion, like, what I mean is there are certain disciplinary practices that religions have to offer that we, as spiritualists, nomads, would benefit from, you feel what I'm saying? And so when I was saying a spiritual system, what I was referencing to is finding 1, 2, 5 religions that you identify with and that resonate most with you, and then taking the practices and starting to practice them within your own life, you feel what I'm saying? Because it's like, initially, the religions, and there are thousands of them, hundreds of thousands of them out there, you feel what I'm saying? So one of them has to resonate with you. But, you know, initially the religions came about because collectives of that religion were documenting, certain practices that they had, which were enabling them to bridge the gap of the physical and the spiritual, you feel what I'm saying? And so there are a lot of truths and a lot of valuable practices with religion, but the problem becomes in building your identity around that religion, you feel me? Becoming dogmatic and being subjected to indoctrination and, like calcifying the vision, calcifying the third eye, and not being able to see beyond the religion. That's where the problem comes, you feel me? But from my experience, actually, religions are beneficial and very valuable. But you must first develop your mind, before you tap into it. I would definitely recommend as well. Like, I'm the type of individual who I'll go up into a church, or a mosque or a temple, or I'll sit with any religious organization and I'll pull knowledge and information from them. And my ability to do this is strengthened, and it became conscious once I learned my birth chart and once I saw I had a lot of ninth house energy. The ninth house is the house that deals with religions and philosophies, you feel me? So for me, it's like, it's important that I am religious, but but my form of religion is not mundane in the sense that I'm tapping into every religion. You feel what I'm saying? And I have an awareness of symbolism, so I can go into any religion and see exactly what they're talking about or what they're doing. You feel me? Because it's all really at the end of the day about symbolism. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, family, that's pretty much this video. I just wanted to come on here and spread the fact that when you learn to identify with no thing, then everything becomes accessible to you. When you identify, for example, when you identify with no thing and you condition yourself to be an empty container, you feel what I'm saying, then it's like you have removed all the things that society in the world labeled you as, made you believe, For example, poverty is a real thing, it's plain, even though scarcity is an illusion and we live in abundance. The universe is abundant, you guys. And so, but like, seriously, like, anyways, that's just like the point. And it's like, when you remove and release all of that which you identify with, then you also remove and release those paradigms dealing with, like, abundance consciousness, you feel me? Scarcity. And so now that you remove that scarcity, abundance become accessible. But in this state, of emptiness, even the abundance is nothing. You don't even care about that. And it's that level that I'm talking about. Emptiness, But yeah, if anyone is interested in working with me, I do offer one-on-one consultations, I offer birth chart readings, because it's important to know thyself, and that's what the stars will help you do. I also offer self-imaging consultation sessions, These are good when they're paired with the birth chart, and because the self-imaging, it comes from, okay, once a person understands their birth chart, they know what's going on, but they would benefit from having a guide who can help them reconstruct, because the birth chart is a map of the thought structures within the mind. So the self-imaging is like, once you know your birth chart, here, I'm gonna enable you with the tools that you need to change and alter yourself, to express on higher levels, you feel what I'm saying? But yeah, that pretty much is that. Thank you guys for tuning in, and definitely subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, namaste. Peace.